Okay, we're going to decorate this cookie as a padlock. So what I've done is cut out a heart-shaped cookie, and then I've cut a strip of biscuit and I've just curved it around and stuck it on before baking it. So what we're going to do is take some royal icing in a piping bag that you've just snipped the end off of, and we're going to put on the outline of the heart. And what I'm going to do is draw a little keyhole now in the centre. So a little round bit. Don't join the circle all the way around. Mine might be slightly off centre, so just spend a little bit of time deciding where you want your keyhole to go. Okay. And then I'm just going to pipe on for the handle. And you can do this in any colour. You don't have to pipe it in white. In fact, try and go for the colour that you want your heart to be. Now I'm going to paint mine silver, so what I'm going to do is dye all my royal icing a slight grey colour so it's got a base coat, and then I'm going to, once it's dry, I'll paint over it in silver. Okay, so I'll do the same with this one. So what I'm going to do now is flood my biscuit with royal icing. Now I've just dyed this grey so that it's a bit of a base colour for when I put my silver over the top afterwards. So, and it's a runnier consistency than what I piped the outline with as well. And you want to just pull your icing through a little bit, trying to get rid of all the lumps. If you find that you can't get rid of all your lumps, it might just be that your icing's a little bit thick, so I could have maybe done mine a tiny bit thinner than what I have done. Okay, so the same this side. You will find that when you've let it rest a minute, it should flatten out a tiny bit. So just try and shake out the lumps. You'll see it's starting to flatten a little bit like that. And then we're just going to do the same in the handle, if you can see for my head. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that to dry to one side, and then when this is dried we can put some over piping over the top. So it's worth, if you're doing a few, getting them all to the same stage, just leaving them to dry. Now I'm going to leave that for a couple of hours to make sure it's sort of skinned over enough before we pipe more on top. Okay, so this time I've just made a tiny bit of royal icing. It's a bit darker grey than what we've used before. Again, put it in a piping bag and just cut a small hole. And what I'm going to do is just pipe it inside my little keyhole. Now you can do it the reverse way of what I've done. You can pipe your, oh, bit of air stuck in there. You can pipe your keyhole in first if you prefer, and then do your lighter grey afterwards. And again, you don't have to just do it in the same colours as what I've done. You can do a different colour. Okay, so just make sure the keyhole is the right shape that you want it to be. So just pull it with a cocktail stick to bring the corners out and to bring your round bit to the right shape. And I do apologise if I keep putting my head in the screen. Okay, just like that. And again, you can let that set for a little bit before we go on to the outside. So once that cookie's set, we're going to pipe around the edge a little bit just to make it a little bit fancier. If you want to leave it like that, you can leave it like that, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to start around here. Now I've put a fancier nozzle on so that I've not just got a plain piping. So I'm going to start about here, swizzle it round and bring it out like that. And I'm going to do some smaller ones here. And again here. Okay. Now I'm going to do that again here, going slightly smaller. And again, I'm going to do another one there, another one there, and bring it round. So again, I'm going to do one here. And again, I apologise if my head is in the way. Like that. And again, we're going to pipe some on the bottom as well. And this time at the bottom, we're going to start up here and we're going to bring it round. Now this is where I have to work out what I'm doing the opposite way round. And you can pipe whatever pattern you want on here. I just quite like the little swirls. And down. And round like that. Now if you want it even bigger, you can pipe more swirls over the top of the ones you've already got on there. So if you want it to go over the top again, to go thicker, you can do. Depends how 3D, how much icing you want on your padlock. And again, you can put a little bit on your handle if you want to make your handle a little bit fancier. So I'm just going to pipe little swirls on like that. And again on this side, I'm going to pipe some little swirls which are just covering my white outline on here. Okay, and you see it's just made your padlock look a little bit fancier. Again, you know, if there's any particular swirls you want to stand out more than the others, just pipe over the top. Like that, just to make them stand out a little bit more. Again, you know, if you want these ones standing out further, just pipe over the top, like that. Try around the keyhole now. Like that. And then if you want, you can add a little dot either side where the screws would be. Like that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to give it a bit of a silver sheen and then a little bit of shading just to make it look a little bit more metallic. And again, you could go for gold or bronze coloured rather than silver like what I've done. So we're going to take our cookie, and what I've done is I've just used this metallic food paint on it. You can use a powdered one mixed with alcohol or water. For this, I'm just going to use this one. So I'm just going to put a bit on my brush. And I'm just going to paint it on everywhere. Don't worry about putting it on too thickly. It's just to give it a little bit of a metallic look. And you'll see it's slightly transparent, which is why we dyed the icing grey originally, because you'll be able to see through it a little bit. So we're going to just do this all over. So I've just let that paint dry a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is take a dry brush, and I'm just using some food, if I don't drop it everywhere, some Rainbow Dust Black Magic one. And I'm just going to put a little bit of shading on. So I'm just going to dip it in the paint and lightly brush some off in the lid because I don't want too much on. Then I'm just going to dust it in around the edges, but if you like your cookie as it is, just in silver like that, just keep it like that, that's fine. And you just want to gently rub your powder in around the edges so that you end up with a bit of a shaded look around the edge. Just put a bit more black on there. And you want to keep doing that all the way around. So put as much on as you want. The more you put on, obviously the darker it gets. I've been a bit heavy-handed with this one, so I put quite a lot of the black on. Again, you could try it with a gold or a silver dust. You don't have to use black. Black just makes it look a bit older looking. So try not to make as much of a mess as I have done. So you'll see it's a bit darker than my other one that I've done. And of course you don't have to shade it at all. And this is another one that I'd done where I'd started with the base a little bit darker and then put a little bit of silver over the top, so they're all slightly different colour wise. Just hold them up so you can see them. So they are all a little bit different, and you can do them however you want. You don't have to do the same patterns, just something swirly or even just a straight line around the edge would look nice as well. And they look quite effective little cookies that you should be able to just make at home. Thank you for watching.